Off this Thursday with breaking news. Winston-Salem police are investigating a deadly shooting tonight. Officers were called to 14th Street at about 8:45 to respond to a shooting. So far, the name and age of the victim have not been released to the public. Police are still on the scene, so that area will likely be closed to traffic for at least another few hours. We'll continue to stay on top of the story and bring you any updates as soon as we get them on television and online. Businesses and organizations all around the Winston Weaver fertilizer plant are working to recover more than a week after a massive fire and subsequent evacuation. One of those groups in need of quite a bit of help right now is a local branch of the North Carolina Diaper Bank. Justin Schreier spoke with the director tonight. He joins us live not far from the site of that fire. Justin, what are you hearing?
Yeah, hey Kenny, good evening. Just feet from the Weaver fertilizer plant sits the Diaper Bank of North Carolina's Greater Triad branch, and when that fire occurred, it caused some irreparable damage.
We know for sure we're losing about 60,000 diapers. What we are unsure of is the chemical and smoke damage to the rest of our inventory.
Inside the Diaper Bank of North Carolina's Greater Triad branch are thousands of diapers and other products, many of which are now damaged.
We had some flooding that happened from sparks flying onto the roof that caused damage to the roof.
CEO and founder Michelle Old says right now they are talking with diaper manufacturers, hazmat professionals, and the EPA to try and figure out if some of the diapers are safe.
That is something that we're not willing to take a chance on. So even if there is a small percentage that the diapers can be tainted in any way, we are going to dump the diapers, unfortunately.
Old says they also carry some other products which they distribute to people who are experiencing poverty through many different organizations. They may lose about 1 million items.
COVID has really highlighted this need. We've seen a 400% increase in diaper requests, an 800% increase in period products, and a 2,000% increase in adult incontinence supplies. It is unsustainable and overwhelming. It has not slowed down at all.
Old says COVID has already put a strain on their resources. She says combine that with the recent damage from the fire and the increase in need, it has been tough. But they have been able to fulfill orders from their Durham branch.
Proudly, I can say we've not missed one distribution, but we're at the point now where we're buying diapers just to distribute them and put them out.
And if you would like to help the North Carolina Diaper Bank, we will put a link to their webpage and how you can help on our website, WXII12.com. Here in Winston-Salem tonight, Justin Schreier, WXII 12 News.
Justin, thank you. Other businesses near the fertilizer plant are hoping they're not forgotten in the response. New Dimensions Hair Studio is less than a mile away. It was part of that evacuation zone. Owner Contillis Archie Meyer closed the salon for a week since her business was in that voluntary evacuation radius. Clients are back in her chair now, as you can see from this video shot today. But she's curious about what support is out there for business owners who faced another unexpected challenge during this pandemic.
No one talked about the businesses that were closed or the businesses that were affected. So it was kind of like, are we important? I couldn't work. So with doing this, if you can't work, you don't get paid.
Archie Myers says she hopes someone reaches out to entrepreneurs in the area who've already been through quite a bit in the last couple of years. More job opportunities are on the way for residents of eastern Greensboro. Officials are focused on 3 different areas there: building relationships between community members and the police, training and access to more jobs, and improving the overall health of the community. They plan to handle these 3 issues through a variety of methods: neighborhood watch, workforce development, and economic development. Lawmakers say improving the economic health of the community not only helps people, but also the community as a whole. Across the Triad and across the country, gas costs almost $1 more a gallon than it did a year ago. According to AAA, the current average for a gallon of regular in Greensboro is $3.29. A year ago, it was $2.30 a gallon here in the Triad. What that means is if you have a 16-gallon tank, a fill-up costs almost $53 now compared to less than $37 this time at 2021. And if you get gas once a week, that means a month's worth of gas, or 5 fill-ups, costs almost $80 more than it did just a year ago. The U.S. Energy Information Administration says the national average at the start of this week was $3.33. Last time it was that high was the middle of September of 2014, 7.5 years ago.
So we're paying about 14 cents more than we were this time last week. And we talk about what we were spending a month ago. It's about 27 cents more per gallon than we were spending a month ago.
And coming up tomorrow morning on WXII 12 News at 5, gas prices high all across the state and here in the Triad. AAA experts predict this could be the case for some time. How drivers can find some other ways to save on the road. That's coming up tomorrow morning on WXII 12 News beginning at 5. Vaccine mandate protests similar to the ones in Canada could soon happen in the United States as well. That is the warning from the Department of Homeland Security. And as Jen Sullivan reports, what's called the Freedom Convoy is now blocking another artery between the U.S. and Canada.
Ambassador Bridge toll booths sit empty at the busiest international crossing in North America Thursday. Freedom Convoy protesters have now cut off access to 3 U.S.-Canada border crossings in Michigan, North Dakota, and Montana on the Canadian side of the border, disrupting economic resources flowing in between the two nations. In the Canadian capital of Ottawa, where the police chief says the city's core remains under siege.
We have shower, we have bathroom, we have food, we have propane, like a lot. Yeah, so we ain't moving from here.
Dozens of protesters disrupted traffic at the Ottawa International Airport for about 2 hours Thursday morning, circling the airport's arrivals and departure terminals. The Canadian government is now sending additional Royal Canadian Mounted Police to assist with several protest locations in the country.
The more resources, the more reinforcements, the safer and quicker we can end this unlawful and unsafe demonstration.
Now, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is warning law enforcement across the United States that a convoy of truckers protesting vaccine mandates, similar to the protests in Canada, could soon erupt in the U.S., potentially impacting the Super Bowl in President Biden's State of the Union address.
We are watching this very closely.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
There is new guidance out tonight on how K-12 schools all across the state should handle COVID exposures. NCDHHS updated its Strong Schools NC Toolkit today. Health leaders no longer recommend contact tracing or having students and staff quarantine after an exposure unless they have symptoms or test positive for the virus. The guidance still recommends schools notify potentially exposed students and staff so that they're at the very least aware. Those people should continue to wear a mask for 10 days after their last known exposure unless there's an exemption to face coverings in that particular jurisdiction. If an exposed student or staff member starts developing symptoms, they should be tested immediately. Otherwise, they're advised to wait 5 days after that exposure to get a test. While keeping students home is not recommended, health leaders from the state say schools can allow asymptomatic students to stay home after an exposure. Those changes kick in on February 21st. Governor Cooper spoke on this update today, saying the most important thing right now is to keep the state metrics heading in the right direction.
They are reviewing that policy right now, but I think what is going to be more important is that we continue to watch the trends and make sure that we are coming down significantly.
And right now it looks like North Carolina's COVID numbers are doing just that. The state's positivity rate is the lowest it's been since Christmas. It's currently a little more than 16%. Health leaders would still like this to continue dropping. They would really like to see it below 5%. State health leaders reported more than 8,700 new cases today, a 42% decrease from a week ago. Hospital numbers also continue to drop as well. We are steadily now below 4,000. Our record high was 5,200 in the middle of January. Well, the Super Bowl is just 3 days away, and there is major security effort underway, as there is every year, to protect the game that well over 100 million people will likely watch. Miguel Almaguer shows us the preparation.
With 70,000 fans flooding SoFi Stadium in a city where all eyes will be on the Super Bowl, not everyone will be watching the game.
NORAD, this is the Konar CCO.
One of the nation's most elaborate security nets tonight entangling Los Angeles, on the ground, in the air, and at sea.
Threats can be coming from any angle.
A Super Bowl with a supersized security detail. Field teams who have no known credible threats will help quarterback the massive security blitz. Fighter jets are standing by at the ready. More than 10 federal agencies game planning with some 13 local law enforcement teams. Thousands of officers will be on the ground and hovering just above it.
what's keeping me up at night right now is just the population density, the air density, the complexity of this Super Bowl.
SoFi sits in the shadow of LAX. Planes and drones an added threat.
Flying low and slow, the CBP will be in the air all of game day. The eye in the sky is a critical asset, but it's hardly the only one.
Southern California's Golden Coast also on red alert.
Marine crews like this one will primarily be focused on about 50 miles of coastline leading up to and on Super Bowl Sunday, a threat that could come from anywhere.
Strike teams have been planning for over a year.
For us, every day is game day. So, the players eat, sleep, live football. We eat, sleep, live maritime law enforcement.
Tonight for law enforcement on this playing field, there is no room for a fumble. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Los Angeles.